As Arun said, today we are going to learn about another session on wound management, that is fungating ulcer. Last week we learned about pressure ulcer. This session will be taken by Sister Anna Rao. I hope all of you are familiar with Sister Anna Rao, who was our last week faculty. Sister Anna, welcome back and over to you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone at the podium and all the participants. I'm very happy once again we are meeting, and today we will be discussing about the wound management, but now it is fungating wound. Uh, Throughout our nursing career, we have seen many types of wounds. Okay, but this particular wound is very different because on very few occasions we happen to see this. So let me go straight to the presentation. Yeah, is it seen on the screen?
No.
Okay. Okay, so let us see the definition. What is fungating wound? Okay, so it is a mass of yes.
We are not able to see your slide.
Just a second.
Yeah. It's visible now.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So what is fungating wound? Okay, so it is a mass of malignant cells that have infiltrated the epithelium and surrounding blood and lymph vessels also. Okay, so that is why it becomes or it creates a major problem. Generally, it is seen as a complication of cancer tumor. Okay, and it can develop in patients with advanced disease. Okay, generally how it is caused, so it is direct infiltration of the skin, tissues, mucosa, blood or lymph vessels by the tumor. And there is also metastatic deposit in it. And many a times it occurs from the primary tumor that is in skin, but it may be the nearby tissues also, cancer of the nearby organs also, I mean. So why it is important to take care of such a wound? You can see here the lady is having fungating wound on the breast. Okay, so 5 to 15% of cancer patients, they are seen with fungating wound. And it is very traumatic because it is a constant visual reminder of one's deteriorating situation. Okay, person will be observing it day in and out, that his condition is worsening day by day, and he will be very much worried apart from the physical problems. These wounds will also be very painful. Okay, they will produce very high level of exudate, and it will cause bleeding. And plus, because of the putrefaction of the tissues, it will spread malodor. And without treatment, they will, I mean, the potential to extend it also in a massive scale. So one has to be really careful in taking care of these patients. Now let us see what are the characteristics. So it forms a fungal origin. It will form like it will look like crater, or it will be looking like a cauliflower in appearance. Okay, so the surrounding part will be high Okay, peripheral part will be high and the center part will be a little lower. So that's how it will look like, and plus it will be wet, okay, because of the exudate. This type of lesion will grow very rapidly, and it will ulcerate. Okay, it will proliferate also very fast, and to the nearby organs or tissues, it will fistulate. So there will be more and more problems as the day passes. Patients will have varied type of physical symptoms, okay, including pain, high levels of exudate, excessive bleeding, and malodor, as we saw earlier. We will be seeing some more in the coming slides also. Most common sites, you will wonder that what are the most common sites where you will find this fungating wound. So they are most common in the breast, then it can occur in any tissues, okay, but it is more seen in head and neck carcinoma, soft tissue sarcoma, kidney, bladder, lung, ovary, vagina, colon, and penis. So these are the places where you will find this type of ulcers. And from person to person, the presentation may look different. So here you can see a patient with head and neck carcinoma. Okay, so let us see now how the development take place. Okay, so there is fungating lesion to begin with, and the cells will rapidly proliferate, okay, and it will give cauliflower appearance. The ulceration will be looking like open crater with margins, and there will be erosion of the sinuses. Why symptoms are seen? So because of the, what happens is that in cancer tissues, it has its own vasculature, okay, and there may be vascular deficiency also. Okay, so it will affect the local level blood flow. Okay, and because of that, there will be poor cell perfusion. Okay, and the normal tissues will be hypoxic. Yeah, and because of that, necrosis will be seen. Then in the absence of lymphatic vessels, what happens is there is increased interstitial fluid. Okay, and that will cause increased extravascular pressure also, and the blood vessels in the local region will collapse, and you will see the exudate. Okay, so this is why we see large amount of exudate also and large amount of slough tissue. Okay, that is necrosed tissues in the tumor. Okay, then the excessive cell proliferation will cause acidic pH of extracellular fluid rise. There will be interference with the clotting mechanism. Okay, and bleeding and friable tissues are visible. The moist necrosed tissues, there will be infection. Okay, next secondary infection will take place, and there will be anaerobes and aerobes bacteria will be seen. They will have volatile, they will release volatile fatty acids, okay, and there will be malodor and exudate. Okay, so this is particularly the pathophysiology for the symptoms. So with the pathophysiology, we can come see that why management of this type of lesion are very crucial. So how to manage? Okay. Now healing is not the objective here, because very few cases the wound will be healed completely. Okay. Complete healing is not possible in all the cases. Very few will have. Generally, this type of lesions will increase in the size, and it will increase problems of a person. Okay, so our main goal is symptom control. Okay, all the symptoms we try to keep under control so the patient is having maximum comfort. Okay, so holistic assessment of the patient and the wound should be done. Management should be guided by the problems which occur day by day, okay, and the clinical concerns with help of health professionals and specialists. So what points will you keep in mind? Okay, this wound is chronic in nature, as we have come to know now. Okay, it is very complex to manage and demand a plan that is very individualized. Each person will be different, okay, and each lesion will be different. So we have to treat in that way. Treatment plan will often include significant amount of psychological and social support from the patient also and the carers who are involved in the care and nearby society people also. Okay, so let us see about the assessment. Now, assessment, you know that it should be done on the regular basis. Okay, unless we do proper assessment, we are not able to give them proper care. Okay, so what will you remember? So we need to monitor the wound efficiently. Okay, see that whatever treatment, whatever dressings we are doing, how it is improving the patient's wound. Are there any side effects from the treatment which patient is receiving? Okay, and see and manage patient's quality of life. Okay, how you can improve. Okay, so holistic approach should be taken in account for the whole person. Okay, and we must remember that. Okay, so here I am giving you two lesions. Let us take some time and make a list. Okay, we have seen that assessment from all the 4 point of view, right? That is physical, then psychological, social, and spiritual. Okay, we have learned this 4 aspects of assessment in our palliative care. So will you please make a list of the common problems seen in these 2 patients? Okay, one, Amma is having fungating wound because of her oral buccal mucosa cancer, okay, on the left side. And right side is a person who is having lesion on the limb. Okay, so let us take 5 minutes and under 4 headings of total pain, let us make the list of the problems. You can write down in chat box also. Right, unable to eat, swallow, unable to talk, social isolation, yes. Yes, low self-esteem. Yes, bad order. Yes, there will be pain. Yes. Yes. Pruritus. Yes. Bleeding, infection. Yes. Depression. Yes. Yes. Disturbed body image. Yes. Okay. So we can say that these type of wounds will need expert care so that we can control these many symptoms. Okay, now what is bad on the part of many times this type of patients is that many of them, they lack the basic care. Okay, they are not able to get enough attention, and they are dumped in one room. Okay, so plus they access to healthcare facilities are also very less. Okay, and because of all these other problems, their physical and mental agony increase day by day. Okay, so as we have, you have listed many of these. Okay, so physical problems will be where it is located, okay, and what is the size of the wound. It will be very much true. Whether the lesion is open, which will be seen by all, okay, like the one Amma had a lesion on her face. Okay, you cannot hide it. Okay, other person is having on the, say for example, limb. Okay, so that can be covered under the clothing, right? So that will also give many effects. Okay, then what type of tissues are affected? Okay, what type of tissues are involved in the wound? What is the exudate level and type from the wound that is taking place? Then the order, then pain level. Okay, in this will also include the pain which is caused during dressing. Okay, because the nerve endings will be open. Okay, then amount of itching, pruritus, okay, of the wound and surrounding skin. What is the actual condition of the surrounding skin? That is also very important. Then how this wound is affecting on person's daily activities, and frequency of dressing change that is required. Sometimes exudates are so much that even we have to do dressing twice in a day. Okay, what is the comfort of dressing? Okay, because it will be very bulky, because it gives off lot of exudates. We try to soak them in the dressing materials. Okay, so the dressing will become very bulky. Then whether there is infection. Okay, secondary infection has taken place. Okay, so these are just to name a few. So we have to see and cover all these aspects in the care. So that is why expert guidance is required. Okay, because all these physical things will lead to anxiety. Okay, patient will have less confidence, and there will be social isolation. Next comes psychological. Can you imagine yourself with such wound? So it is said that best way to identify patient's problems is to put yourself into patient's shoes, okay, in a patient's condition. Then we find that there are so many psychological issues. Okay, so as one of the candidate here said, that problem of body image. Okay, there is malodor. Okay, that will be continuously there. Okay, patient will feel that he or she is rotting away. Okay, so constant reminder. Change in appearance gives so bad effect. There is communication difficulties. Ideas and thoughts will not be transferred to the person whom you love. Okay, then there is bulky dressing that will be soaked up. Okay, so cosmetic effect of dressing. Social isolation is always there. Okay, rejection also will be there, okay, from the society, even many times from own family members also, okay, closed members also. They will have a state of denial, okay, agony, rejection, defeat. Patient will go into depression. They will be embarrassed of their condition. There will be lot of fear because it will constantly remind that you are going to die. Okay, so there will be also feeling of guilt. Okay, so it is very difficult. The psychological issues are very difficult to many times assess and explain. Okay, and the gruesome and unpredictable, I should say, physical symptoms and also the time-consuming thing will demand that is there in the wound care will make patient lose his dignity and confidence. Okay. So symptoms will distress and it will have huge impact on the activities of daily living also and quality of life, of course. So many times patient neglects self-care and the lesion will cause more and more psychological suffering than the cancer diagnosis itself. We sometimes patient may forget about the cancer, but the wound is the constant reminder that he has some problem. So next is the social issues. Okay, so impact of the spouse and family members. So coping issues are always there. Order will be always 24/7. Okay, so in the surrounding environment during the meal times, okay, visitors times, everywhere the whole house will be having bad order. So a very big problem. Slowly the relatives and nearby people will stop coming to the person's house. Information on the needs of the patient and family should be identified by the healthcare professionals. Whether there are any restrictions due to dressing changes, okay, that also should be seen. Then feeling of revulsion and disgust will be there. That should be assessed and talked. Okay. Self-respect is lost, self-esteem is lost, sexuality is a big problem. Okay. In our Indian scenario, very few will be talking about it, but it is always there in their minds. They will be having feeling of shame, social isolation, support and resources will be lost because the condition is so long. Okay. Their economical situation will be very poor and the whole family would be suffering because all the resources are used up after one person only. So what about the remaining personnel who are good in health? Okay. What about children education? Okay. What about wife if the patient is male? Okay. What if the female is the patient and male has to cope with? Because in the care of patient, one carer is always busy. Okay, so the caretaker is also many times losing the job. Spiritual issues. Many times patients take it as punishment from God. Okay, they are always in mental agony. Why this happened to me only? They are angry. Though I had spent good amount of life in prayer, I had gone to this many pilgrimages, then also I am suffering. There is rejection from the community. Community also will be thinking in the same way that he must be having curse of God. Okay, so they will neglect them. They will not be allowed to take part in religious activities. So patient many times lose faith, and relatives also lose faith in God. Many times there is loss of purpose to live life. Okay, many times it is seen that families they commit suicide together. Such cases are also there in the society. Okay, so uh, referral to religious leader many times becomes essential to find out the problems and give them mental uh, or spiritual calmness. Okay, so wound management basically will encircle around these things. Okay, we have seen many things. Okay, so these are the major problems. So pain control, bleeding control, exudate control, malodor control, and of course, there should not be infestation of maggots in the wound. Okay, and secondary infections. So we will see them one by one. Many times in wound management, patient, if palliative radiation therapy and chemotherapy is given, then many times exudates and ulceration or the necrosis can be controlled. The debridement is another thing, so that also helps in that. Okay. Then systemic antibiotics can be used. Okay. So secondary infection is controlled. Patient may be having deep pain like aching, stabbing. It may be continuous also. So pain assessment you must have learned. Okay, and with the help of WHO ladder, we can control the pain. Okay, adjust the systemic analgesics, and when the dressing is to be done, give extra dose of morphine just 30 minutes before dressing. If the patient is having superficial pain, like burning pain and stinging pain, then local application of lignocaine jelly, okay, opioid, and soak it before 10 minutes before dressing. So that will help. Incidental pain, that is only on movement. Okay, so in such cases, ketamine can be given sublingually. Malodor. We have seen that because of the bacterial growth in the dead tissues, mainly anaerobic bacteria, okay, that causes malodor. Okay, so what to do? Daily bath before dressing is good because it will also help in cleaning the wound. Okay, plus the slough tissues will be removed very easily. So that can be done. After that, wound can be cleaned with isotonic saline. Okay, so that can be used, and all the loose tissues can be removed. Okay, slough tissues can be removed. Okay, then to control odor, we can apply metronidazole. Okay, many times metronidazole is also sprayed over the wound. Okay, but mostly we keep tablets that are crushed. Okay, because it has a good chemical strength in tablets. Okay, so they are crushed and then it is applied over the wound. Okay, few cases systemic metronidazole is also given. In the case if the wound is very painful, okay, then in such cases the metronidazole powder, I mean the tablet powder, can be mixed with lignocaine jelly, and then it is applied over the wound. So that reduces pain also along with the odor. Generally, dressing is done twice a day. For infection, as we have seen previously also, use of systemic and topical antimicrobials can be used. Charcoal dressing is also used. Of course, it is costly, but that is also good for the odor control. Okay, and charcoal pieces can be placed under patient's bed so that the odor becomes less in the surroundings. That also can be done. Also, we can use incense sticks. Okay, so or air fresheners for the control of odor in the room. Exudate causes significant problems, especially in the quality of life issues. Okay, so moderate to large quantity of exudate, if it is found, that is because of increased permeability of the vessels within the tumor, okay, and because of bacterial enzymes. If exudate is not controlled, then other related problems like soiling, okay, then maceration of surrounding tissues, there will be leakage from the dressing, and odor will be more. Okay, so exudate we should try to control. So what type of dressing material is used? Okay, because with the general what we use dressing material, with that the dressing becomes very bulky. So many specialized dressings are also available, like foams, alginates, hydrofibers are there, along with super absorbent products based on the diaper technology is also used. Of course, these all are quite costly, so many times common men cannot afford them. And as before, secondary infections are treated with the antibiotics. Many places they use honey. Okay, honey is also good antimicrobial. Okay, so that can be used. It gives a burning effect. Okay, so patient should be warned of it. Silver or iodine dressings are also done in some places. What is needed is frequent change of dressing because of large amount of exudate, and no two dressings are same. Okay, so we have to be seeing that different different persons are dressing are different. Now the surrounding skin, we have seen that it becomes macerated. Okay, so barrier film should be applied, okay, so that the surrounding skin is not affected, because it becomes very fragile and it will be damaged very easily, and it will also get infected. Okay, so we should try to minimize the peripheral skin contact with the exudate. Okay, so on the exudate, we will put more dressing and soaking material so that it doesn't.
Sister,
2-3 slides, madam, it will get over. Yes, I'm audible, no?
yes, yes, now you can.
Okay, okay. Okay, so these are various dressings and antimicrobial agents used. Okay, so foams, how it is benefiting, that it promotes moist wound environment and does not adhere to the tissue. Okay, multiple shapes and sizes are available to fit the wound. Calcium alginates are used to cover or fill the wound bed, and it becomes a gel and it absorbs any drainage while promoting a wound healing. It also acts as hemostatic agent. Honey is used. It is having high osmolarity and low water activity. It is bactericidal, moistens the wound and removes necrotic tissue. And it also lowers the wound pH to promote healing. Silver, it helps in gradual release of silver, that broad spectrum bacterial effects are there. Charcoal, it absorbs small gas molecules and bacterial spores. So it is used either in primary or secondary dressings. Then there is Dakin's solution, 0.25% concentration. Sodium hypochlorite is used in this. Okay, so broad spectrum bactericidal effects, and it also removes necrotic tissue. And metronidazole that we have seen. Okay, what if bleeding occurs? Okay, so it can occur while you are removing the dressing or you are applying dressing, cleaning. Okay, so prevention by soaking is good, because the dry dressing, if it is there, then it will injure the skin, very minute capillaries, and there will be bleeding. Okay, so ideally it should be, dressing should be soaked. Never try to pull out the dressing which is dried up. Okay, so first soak with normal saline and then take out the old dressing. That's why we need to give patient a good bath, so this problem does not occur. After you have cleaned the wound, and if there is bleeding, then local pressure can be given for 10 minutes at least. And still if it continues, then apply for some longer time. We should also see that if there is another infection there in the region. Okay. Topical sucralfate powder is used. It will form the coating and it will stop bleeding. Systemic application of ethamsilate and tranexamic acid is also used. Adrenaline packs are should be used if it is used with caution, because it will elevate the pressure and there will be more bleeding. So what to do? You will have to teach the caretaker about the sterilization at home. Okay, and I'm sure you must have gone through all this. Okay, how to make a saline at home. Okay, how to sterilize dressing material at home. Okay, so this should be taught to the caregivers. Okay, and with good observation, they can also do the dressing at home, and timely follow up with the healthcare professional or home care based care team is there. Then by home visiting also it can be done. And always teach patients and relatives about good effects of hand washing before and after dressing. Okay, use of dark color clothes. Okay, so that the blood will be hidden. Okay, and the people surrounding the patient are not getting afraid because of seeing the large amount of blood. But that should not, I mean, patient should come to know and carer should come to know whether the bleeding is large amount or not. Otherwise, patient himself will be in a problem. Okay, so that part is there. Proper disposal of waste material is also important. Otherwise, it can create havoc in the society. And regular follow-up, of course, with the healthcare team. Now, maggots. Maggots are a major problem in such type of wounds. Okay, so the dressing, I mean, the wound should be covered all the time with the dressing. Okay, apart from daily changing, twice in a day changing. With so we know that they develop from the house flies eggs. Okay, so advise patients, we always here in our center we give advice to the patients when they have wound to remain in the mosquito net, and they are supplied by the government also, local PHC CHC level. They give the mosquito net. Okay, so they can use that. Regular cleaning and dressing is of course there. Locally keep the swab soaked with turpentine and keep near the wound. Okay, you don't have to pour the turpentine in the wound, okay, to remove the maggots. Okay, it is just to keep it near the wound, so that because the oxygen supply is cut off for the maggots, so they will come on the surface, and with the thumb forceps you can take out. They should not be followed into the wound. Okay, otherwise your thumb forceps will injure the tissues which are already very fragile. The treatment should be repeated 3 to 4 days interval. Okay, and good amount of dressing should be done. So here are some of the other materials which are used for local applications, like mineral oil, then ether, chloroform, ethyl chloride, mercury chloride, creosote, then saline phenol, we know, calomel. These are some of the materials which are applied locally after the manual removal of the maggots. Many times surgical debridement may be necessary for the removal of maggots if large amount is present. And along with the dressing, oral medication like ivermectin, albendazole, clindamycin, this is known as triple therapy. Okay, there are many research studies done over there, and it is also useful for maggots infestation in the wound. Taking care of psychological issues. So counseling and coping mechanisms should be used. Okay. Regular visits by the palliative care team. Keeping the part always covered. Wearing of dark colored clothes that will help in hiding blood, we have seen just in. Okay. And drugs to reduce anxiety and depression. This is also necessary. Social needs, counseling of family members, involvement of social worker to identify the needs of the family. If nearby NGOs are there who can support the family, children's education and other aspects of the family welfare should be done. Government support system should be identified. Use of various schemes can be done. Patient suffering with cancer get monthly cancer money also, so that scheme also can be used. Then of course getting people using ration card, BPL card are also useful. So as per region, whatever facilities are available, they can avail of these facilities. Spiritual needs, again counseling. Close relatives, many times they stop coming to the patient's house. So breaking the barrier is very important. Attending to the wishes of the patient and advance, the advance will preparation, everything is essential. Arrangement of prayer and rituals at home with help of family members is also essential. Roping religious professional also wherever required, so that they have good support system. So what we have to do is identify the problem, assessment, okay, and depending on patient, adaptation of management points, okay, caregivers education, and regular review. So thank you. I have taken little long time, madam, today. 5 minutes more.
No problem. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if you have any doubts, please ask. Either you can chat or can unmute yourself and talk. Anybody? So one question, Anna.
Topical morphine is available. That one. We don't have any, I mean, we have not used so far, not in our center.
Yes, yes. We don't have any topical that morphine is available. So if the patient is having pain, you can give a systemic
Systemic.
morphine, yeah, or
Oral.
yes, yes.
અસાઇનમેન્ટ નહીં હું યુનિટ ટેસ્ટ નો કહું છું એવું કશું હોય છે
Any other questions?
Hello, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, you can.
About honey dressing, how will do, ma'am? About various dressings there are there, madam explained.
Yes, yes.
In
Anna?
that honey dressing, first time I am hearing that one.
Honey is a good antimicrobial. Okay,
And
so
that
that
medicine
can
don't
be
come.
applied over the wound.
હા ના એટલે આપણે એમ જ કહેવાનું કે અમારું કહેવાનું ઇન્ટેન્શન આ જ છે કે ડાયરેક્ટ તમે એમની એક્ઝામ લે છે ને પછી કશું બીજું
Right, Shiba?
Yeah, so I don't have any experience for honey dressings, but literature says if you apply honey, that high sugar level content in the honey, no, that will suppress the bacterial growth. That is why we apply honey to the patients.
And the wound we have to apply, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
The top of the wound you have to apply. That will suppress the bacterial growth. So I don't have any experience for applying that honey dressings. But most of the participants were saying they have a good experience on honey, the treatment.
What about charcoal dressing, ma'am?
So charcoal dressings you can apply, but that charcoal dressings are available now, but the thing is too expensive. But our patients are poor, though they are not able to afford the charcoal dressings. Better you can put 1 or 2 pieces of charcoal in the room or keep under the bed of the patients. That will absorb. That will help to absorb the bad smell.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Anna, can we move on to the patient story today? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sister Parvati will be presenting the patient story today. Sister Parvati, over to you.
Ma'am. Good afternoon to everyone. This is Parvati, working as a technician in the Sri Krishna Institute of Advanced
Parvati,
Tirupati, ma'am.
Parvati, your voice is.
Today, I am going to discuss about the case presentation regarding. Next slide, ma'am. My patient details: 52 years of age, female, diagnosis with CA buccal mucosa left with accelerated wound on left cheek with foul smell and maggots. Tragic in one side, left side of cheek with foul smell wound, pain during swallowing, constipation, disturbed sleep, maggots present in the wound, pain while talking. History of the illness: she was apparently well until 1 year back. She had accelerated wound on left cheek, foul smell in the mouth, then seen at Apollo hospitals near her house, started medications, investigations and biopsy done there. After that, confirmed as a carcinoma buccal mucosa, then teeth were removed. Later, she was continuously suffering with pain and foul smell in the mouth due to poor oral hygiene and maggots in the wound. Patient came back to hospital after 15 days. They referred to she received 28 days of radiotherapy, no chemotherapy due to advanced condition and maggots present and severe pulling type of pain. They were referred to palliative care. Later, they visited Sweekar Hospital, Tata Trust for palliative care. Present patient taking Ryle's tube feeding, second hourly. On examination, patient conscious and oriented, temperature at 1.6 degrees Celsius, pulse 92 breaths per minute, beats per minute, 20 breaths per minute, BP 130 by 60 mm of Hg, saturation 98%, ECOG 3, pain score 6 by 10, PPS 40%. Regarding wound, accelerated wound and pulling type of pain, 7 to 5 centimeters in size, exudates present, irregular in shape, foul smell. At the time of examination, 6 by 10, after give care and everything, pain reduced, treatment, significant investigations, HB 10.4 grams, total count 18,500, platelets 1.4 lakhs, serum creatinine 0.9 mg per dm, serum sodium 132 mgdl, serum potassium 4 mgdl. She had a very foul smelling wound with pulling type of pain score 6/10. Now her foul smell has been reduced with daily dressing and Metrozole mouthwash and salt plus soda, second hourly gargling. Now the pain was reduced 2/10. Psychological aspects. She is 52 years old, married. Her husband 59 years old. She has 2 daughters and 1 son. All are married and all are having children. They depend on agriculture, and now the main source of income is from her son. He is doing daily wages for the food. She is a Hindu. She is always doing prayer to Lord Venkateshwara. She felt so sad and expressed her feelings like, why me? What karma I did? Is there any recovery to my disease? She is very worried about the family members and she feels burdened and dependent on her family members. She wants to see her younger daughter, but she didn't come. Medications: tablet morphine sulfate 15 mg 4th hourly, tablets bisacodyl 5 mg 2 tablets HS, syrup cremafin 30 ml HS, tablet haloviral 1.5 mg HS, Metrozole mouthwash and salt plus soda in lukewarm water for second hour gargling, daily dressing. Main concern: pain and man in wound, and involvement, and
Parvati, your voice is extremely breaking.
main concern: pain and maggots in the wound, poor oral hygiene and foul smell, financial problem, rice tube feeding, and delirium. Summary: 52 years old woman with CA carcinoma buccal mucosa left cheek in May 2020. She received radiotherapy 25 fractions. At present, she has pain over the buccal mucosa and maggots present in the wound and foul smell, pulling type of pain while trying to talk and swallowing. Present, she is taking rice tube feeding. Discussion points. Discussing prognosis with patient and her family members near end of life care. Any chance she meet family members as like previous? Is it possible to live pain-free and maggot-free life without trials tube? She taking feeding. How to give counseling on her family members regarding their present condition.
Thank you, Parvati, for the presentation. So here,
Thank you, ma'am.
52-year-old female diagnosed with CA buccal mucosa. Her main concern is pain and maggots in the wound, poor oral hygiene and foul smell, financial problem, and she is on trials to feeding and delirium. These are the main concern for this patient. And here we have some discussion points also. I think we would, me and Anna wants to get the answer from the participants side. So, do you have any ideas? We have already learned communication part 1 and part 2. So, please share your ideas. Otherwise, you can give some suggestions also. You can give some suggestions to Parvati. Anna,
Yes, ma'am.
can lead. First question.
Okay. Yes, discussing prognosis with patient and family members. What to do? Patient knows about her condition or not? Many times it happens. Many times it happens that patient has come to know about the condition, but prognosis is always a question mark. Right? About actual end, no one will know when it will come. Right? Only we come to know is the end is near, that much we know. But when, exactly what time, that is not in our hands. Right? So in between time, whatever is there with the patient, with the relatives, they should try to have maximum time together in good spirits. That's how we can help. Right?
Here we have some chat answers also. Mr. Harishankar says, while counseling to reduce uncertainty of patient, share proper information, develop a good relationship with the patient. Okay. Then Diana said, if patient is willing to know after taking to him counsel.
Yes, so there should not be any false assurances, right? Maybe she may want to see her grandchildren.
She want to see her younger ma'am, but she didn't come, ma'am. We also a lot of times, but she didn't come to see her mother. Regarding this disease condition,
Parvati, we can't hear you. Parvati,
hello, ma'am.
yeah, can you repeat again?
Ma'am, patient want to see her younger daughter, ma'am, but she didn't come. We talked with her daughter also. Depending upon her mother condition, she is not willing to see her, ma'am.
Okay,
In
why-
future, ask my mother, I don't want to see her. If once we will come, it will too hectic situation to tolerate all this like that. She
why
was
she-
telling.
Yeah, so okay. Okay, why she is reluctant to see her?
From childhood onwards, she is very caring and loving her younger daughter, ma'am, when compared with elder daughter.
Okay. Then why she is reluctant to meet her?
She is feeling I will lose my mother in future. Her daughter knows now her mother condition, ma'am. So other family members not willing to accept the disease prognosis and disease condition, ma'am. Moreover, patient not listening anything, ma'am, after giving a lot of counseling also.
Okay.
I want to live and I want to see my younger daughter and my grandchildren. Like that, she is saying repeatedly, ma'am. Patient is feeling I am burdened to my family members depending upon my situation. Like that, she is feeling right now, ma'am.
Accepting the situation is one of the major thing. So facts acceptance is must. That's what I feel. Many times what happens that the youngest child is always very near and near to parents. Okay, so for them it becomes very difficult to to part with them. Right. So this may be the scenario with the youngest daughter. But the disease condition one has to accept. So once they start accepting, then I think the slowly that pressure lowers and things can smooth out.
Sure, ma'am.
Did the younger child knows the diagnosis of the patient?
Yes, ma'am. She
Prognosis
knows.
also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How old?
38, ma'am.
38. In my experience, most of the time the caregivers that reluctant to treat this type of patients and not willing to sit with the patients, maybe because of misconception of disease. So that is one of the important problem. You have to, as all participants said, you can arrange a family meeting, or you can give a individual assessment. You can take an individual assessment. You can explore their ideas about this disease, what they understand about this disease. So maybe because of that, inside their that younger that girl, that mind, this type of misconception is inside. So maybe because of that, she is reluctant to see her.
He is very worried about her mother condition, ma'am.
Uh,
That's why he didn't listen anything to calm her mother.
okay. Okay, I understand. She is very worried about her mother condition, but at the same time, her mother wants to see her. No.
Yes, ma'am.
So that
Once patient,
did you convey this
her
message
daughter
to her?
about that once. Sorry, ma'am.
Did you convey this message to her?
Yes, ma'am. We conveyed, ma'am. Once I conveyed to her daughter, she said that once I will come and see my mother. After that, I don't know what will happen in my mother health, like that. She was telling, ma'am. Ma'am, is there any possibility of pain-free and maggots-free life in
Yeah.
to my patient, ma'am?
Okay. Maggots is already there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So during the presentation time, ma'am, we're discussing how to manage the maggots. Anybody wants to share your ideas for maggots management?
Turpentine oil.
Yeah. So you can take a turpentine oil and we can take with the gauze piece, soak well and keep close to the wound. No need to pour directly to the wound, that will irritate the patient. So you can just soak it well with the gauze piece and keep close to the wound. That time the maggots will come out. With the help of artery forceps or thumb forceps, you can take it out physically. So important message you have to keep in mind, and don't follow maggots. Usually when you go with your artery forceps or thumb forceps, they go inside. So if you follow the maggots, what happened? Your artery forceps or a thumb forceps will damage the artery forceps, the blood vessels, blood vessels or arteries. Okay, so again, maybe bleeding will be there. So don't follow maggots. Once the maggots come out, you have to take it out. And education of the patient and family about the maggots prevention. So how does maggots come? How does maggots come? Yeah, it's come from, it's very good. It's come from house flies. Okay. So when a patient comes to you with a wound, any type of wound, even pressure ulcer or any other, any type of wound, you can give that health education to cover the wound always. Okay. Yeah, usually the house flies are attracted with the infected wounds. Once they touch the wound, they lay many eggs. After that, the result will be maggots. So if possible, they can cover the wound always. Okay. And sometimes they are, if here, one important point is here one physical problem, pain. Sometimes the patients will be experience two type of pain. One is neuropathic pain and the another one is nociceptive pain. So if the tumor will be compressing on the blood vessels or the arteries, that patient experience neuropathic pain. Okay. So if the patient is experiencing neuropathic pain, the patients won't able to tolerate the dressings on the wound. Maybe allodynia will be there. If there is an allodynia there, that wound, the dressings will touch the wound, the patient experience pain. Okay, so that time they can use mosquito nets. So when they go back to the home, they can remove the dressings and they can use mosquito nets. Otherwise, they can cover the wounds always. So, but they don't know the maggots are come from flies. So that important message you should convey with the patient and the caregivers. Any other points, Anna, you want to add?
No, I think this is the best method they can use.
Okay.
Always keep the wound covered and remain in mosquito net when they are in one place.
Okay. Any other ideas? Any other suggestions for maggots removal? Here we are using turpentine oil, but any other experience? Okay, then we can move on to the next question. Without right stove, she wants to take feed. Any suggestions? We would like to hear from the participant side. If you see these type of patients, if you meet this, for example, on one patient, if you meet today evening, the patient asks you, so I want to remove the right stove. I want to feed through my mouth. So how will you respond? Nurses are always with the patients. So we can give some answer for that questions. How will you respond? Swallowing test before starting the feed. Any other suggestions? Pick two. Counseling her about importance of rights to feeding, but at the same time allowing for pressure feeding. Okay. Anna, do you want to respond to this question?
I mean, the wound will be open, no? So directly, if one is able to pour directly in the throat, then only it will be possible. Chewing is not possible. Patient may have to, I mean, take liquid diets, depend on liquid diets more in such case. So filling the food in the mouth cavity is not possible. Food will come out, it will leak. So maybe swallowing is there, then they can take liquid. This is generally seen in the patients with open wound.
So
Can I mean, generally what happens is that when we are giving NG feeding, at that time some other person is giving food, but instead of, if the patient herself takes feeds herself, Ryle's tube, or putting a small part of the food in her on her tongue will give her satisfaction of the taste, especially because that is also necessary, because then only the salivation will be there and good digestion also will be there. So that's what we can do.
I think so. Anna said is one of the important points. Even if the patient is not taking orally, you can give some that food. If you prepare anything, that food materials. Before you are giving to the rice tube, you can give the small portion to taste it, so that the patient's satisfaction level will be improved. And the another thing is, as I already said, you have to explore the patient's concern. Okay, so you have to take the insight from the patient's side, why she is that requesting to that remove the rights tube, and after that you can give some ideas why we are putting the rights tube. If we are removing the rights tube, what will be the after effect. So that all things you have to need to the patients and need to discuss with the patient. Okay. And the tech tube and another invasive procedures like gastrostomy, feeding and all may not be possible this type of patients because of that patient is nearing end of life. Yeah, near end of life. So that is not possible. But you can do one thing. You can before you are giving any food items through the right tube, you can give uh, the small portion of the food items to in her tongue so that she is able to taste it.
Okay, ma'am.
And the last question, how to give counseling her and her family? How to give counseling? Participants, give some suggestions, your ideas to Parvati. Parvati, who will do the dressings? Yeah.
We always done, ma'am. One more chance is there regarding palliative care. Right now, he is doing, but I'm not present always in hospital. I'm going to camps daily. So that is the problem for me, ma'am.
Sorry, we can't hear you anything. Can you repeat again?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah,
Is it
can
okay,
you
ma'am,
repeat?
now?
Yeah, yes, yes. I can hear you now. Can you repeat again?
Dressings previously in hospital we are doing, ma'am, right now.
Hmm.
Previously we done, ma'am. Later we will, explain the family members regarding how to do dressing and all those things, ma'am, in home setup, ma'am.
Okay, then who will take care of her wound now?
Ma'am, her daughter-in-law, ma'am.
Okay, it's very good. I think so. In this case, you can talk to the daughter-in-laws and the son about whether they have any issues to take care of her mother wound. So you have to find out. Sometimes if there's the with the caregivers uh, in front of you, if the caregivers is also there, no, the patients always said she will take care of my own. But if you take an individual conversation with the patient and caregiver, the patient said, I will take care of my wound. Nobody wants to take care of my wound. So with the in front of the caregivers always they said, my mother, my daughter-in-law or my daughter will take care of my wound. So I think if you want to discuss individually, you will get an that actual persons. Maybe herself also do the dressings if there is any misconception there. Okay. So nobody is willing to touch this type of wound. So with the hospital, did the daughter-in-law is able to do the dressings, or after they go home, she did the dressing?
Sorry, ma'am. Your voice is not audible.
Within the hospital. So before they are discharging, did she learn how to do the dressings, or
Yes,
so in front of you, did she able to do the dressings?
yes, ma'am. In front of us, she is able to doing dressing, ma'am. We demonstrate her, ma'am, and we get the written demonstration steps also from her daughter-in-law.
Then good. Here what we
Ma'am,
yeah.
How-
Okay.
how to maintain sterile things, everything we explained to her family members and her daughter-in-law, ma'am. Her daughters are not present near to her home, ma'am. They are far from their mother. So right now her daughter-in-law is take caring of her. ma'am.
Okay, that's very good. So
Daughters having small children, ma'am.
okay.
So
So that's also another issue. So you can talk to the daughter-in-law also. So you have to address their concern also. You have to understand their emotions.
okay.
She has lot of works instead of this care. So she has to finish lot of works. So you have to with their emotions also, her emotions also. Okay. So nobody wants to listen to her emotions. Always the caregivers, the other family members blame. You could do this, you should do that, like this, like that, always there. So if possible, you can just call the daughter-in-law and listen to her problems. You can ask her, do you have any problems, do you facing any problems, any difficulty, so that she will happy. Okay, somebody wants to hear my emotions. Okay, so you can, if you get a chance to call her, you can call her and find out her emotions also.
You can
Okay.
say a few words of appreciation also, because apart from her problem, she is, giving good care. So she can be encouraged to do.
Uh, I think this patient pain is 2 out of 10, right? Right now.
Yes, ma'am. After removal of maggots and daily dressing and metrozole and normal saline, everything, oral gargling, the pain is reduced, ma'am.
Okay.
Right now, 2/10.
Okay, that's very good. And you can, if the patient is developing in between, the breakthrough pain is there, you can ask her to take a breakthrough dose also. And for that foul smell, you can same dressings, metronidazole dressings should continue. And if that malodor is not controlled, you can give systemic metronidazole also, 400 milligram TAD after 1 week. You can after that you can just see if the foul smell is reduced, you can continue with the metronidazole dressings. And the another thing is, in case of head and neck cancers, the foul smell is severe, so that you can give a nebulization also. Okay, so instead of, you can say nebulization, instead of Asthalin, you can take a metronidazole injection. That fumes will help to reduce the foul smell. Okay, so there will be a pocket formation there. So if possible, injection, you can clean with injection metronidazole. Okay, that will help to reduce the smell also. Okay, so and another thing is the bleeding. So you have to prepare the patient family. If they develop profuse bleeding in between, how will they manage? You have to talk to the daughter-in-law. Okay, so always they can keep the dark color clothes instead of white color cloth. If they wipe out if bleeding happen, if they wipe out with the white color cloth, what happens? So bright red color, that will increase the anxiety level of the patient and the caregivers too. So always they can keep a dark color cloth. If bleeding happen, they can wipe off the bleeding with the dark color cloth. Okay. So all the other things Anna was discussing clearly. I think we can wind up the session. Anna, can we wind up the session?
Thanks for your valuable advices, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you,
Shiva ma'am.
Anna. Thank you, Anna, for the
Thank you.
excellent presentation. Thank you,
Thank you.
Parvati, for the apt presentation. Today is the suitable presentation. Thank you,
Suitable.
Parvati. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. For sharing feedback. Please do it.